Hi, Curtis Blackwell here for Soft Video Productions. I just now figured out how to make this thing work. It just now, so we're live now. I was talking earlier, so that was just a practice. Okay, we're live now. Hi, Curtis Blackwell, Soft Video Productions, and we've been now live for 17 seconds. Anyway, hi, Curtis Blackwell here. Welcome to Soft Video Productions, the initial run of a test run. So welcome. I'm your host, Curtis Blackwell here, and let me tell you a little bit about what we do here at Soft Video Productions. Soft Video Productions is a video production company based out of Seattle, Washington here, Bothell actually, and we'll do your here is the hydroplanes called the bucket list being lowered into the water, and that was this year down here at Stan Sayers Hydroplane Pits during Seafair, the first week in August. So how hydroplanes got started in Seattle was that a gentleman named Stan Sayers was building a hydroplane called the Slow Motion, and he built that hydroplane, and meantime there was a race going on back in Detroit, Michigan called the Gold Cup. And that was held in the first week in August or second week in August, sometime in early August or during the month of August. So the Gold Cup had been there since 1901 or 1902, when in Detroit they had been racing for a long time there. So what Stan Sayers did was he decided to build a hydroplane, call it Stan Sayers, I call it the water and all the stuff around here, Seattle, you know. The people, make it a people celebration and community celebration. So Stan Sayers brought back the hydroplane and the Gold Cup back to Seattle. Now there was a TV station called King TV, Channel 5 in Seattle, which had got together and said, hey, this would be great sport to put on TV. So they didn't know what they were doing, and then they put everything together. So Stan Sayers and a lot of the other boats, smaller hydroplanes, put together the event, and it was called Seafair. At first it wasn't called Seafair, but then they changed the name to Seafair. So from 1951 until currently here, 2018, Seafair has been going on hydroplane races down there along the magnificent shores of Lake Washington. So, oops, all right, I believe it was his first hydroplane race. And he raced, and he got together with sponsorship from Budweiser, and built these hydroplanes, and had for many years, over 50 years, had those hydroplanes racing on Lake Washington. And he was a very big supporter. Now he was based originally out of Miami, but then he moved his facilities to Seattle. A lot of the hydroplanes, classic hydroplanes, and still to this day have their headquarters located here in the Seattle area. And at one time, Seattle was the major king of the hydroplane racing with, as far as having their boat camps here in Seattle. Some of the hydroplane races over the years have been taking place in places like Syracuse, New York, also in Miami, down there, back in the East Coast, and they want to see it, and usually somebody has a phone, walk around there. Well, you don't have to do that. We can set the cameras up, so you can see what's going on, enjoy the birthday party, and your grandparents or your uncle or your sister-in-law or relatives back in the East Coast, back there in New York City, can watch anywhere across the country, can watch it live on the internet and join in on the fun. And you don't have to worry about that, because Soft Video Productions will hook that up and make it so you can spend more time and enjoy your birthday party. Yes, Soft Video Productions. And we also do like video duplication. Ask yourself, what's video duplication? Video duplication is like we take your old VHS tapes and transfer them to DVD. We can do that, or Super 8 mainly, or transfer to in 1981 or 82, I believe it was, in the early 80s, and I think it was about 83 or so. One of the hydroplanes flipped over, and I believe it was Dean Genoweth, also gentleman, I forget his name, slipping at the moment, Anyway, what happened was that the hydroplane flipped over and killed Dean Chenoweth. He was one of the many people that died in hydroplane because they did not have it closed. So Bernie Lidle and a lot of the people there were concerned about that. So they decided to build one of the hydroplanes and put a cockpit on top of it. Those cockpits come off the F-16, and what that does, as you can see right here, is it stays protected in that cockpit. They have very strict rules about that. But underneath here, underneath the cockpit right there, there's an emergency exit so that he can get out. But if this hydroplane was to break up, if it flipped over or anything like that, we always glad it doesn't happen. But when it does, and it breaks apart, like I said, that cockpit right there will be floating, and the emergency team gets there. And that's another thing too about the emergency team. They're trained technicians and divers. They can get to them within 30 seconds. They are posted. Two of those emergency vehicles, or not vehicles, boats are posted out on the hydroplane race course. So that's great to know. So if it breaks apart, they can get to it, and they might be bruised up a little bit, but they will not. I won't say they won't be killed. I hope they don't ever get killed, but it protects them. So the hydroplane racing sport has come a long way there. Here you see the drivers, Terry Osborne. Thank you for watching. Karen and Mike Ranstrom, Karen and Hollis, all you folks, thank you for watching. And thank you for watching Curtis Blackwell, Salvator Productions. If you'd like to find out more information about Salvator Productions, you can find us on salvatorproductions.com. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Snapshot, and all the rest of them out there. So we're all over the place. So Curtis Blackwell saying so long for now, and we'll see you next time, Salvator Productions, with more stuff.